Hi friends, once again I am there with you. And the last week witnesses lots of events which raises serious question on our governance model. The politician intentions to curb the criminal cases or criminal activities and our judicial system too, which could not pronounce the verdict during time, which resulted receiving bail by criminals and becoming repeated offenders. So first we are going to discuss on Vikas Dubey, who killed 8 policemen when the policemen went to catch him to his village. And it was reported that one of the police in charge informed to Vikas Dubey, police is on the way. So he made all the arrangements to tackle the police force, and after killing 8 policemen, he fled away from there. After getting lot of pressure from public, from media, Vikas Dubey surrendered in Ujjain in MP, in Mahakal temple. It was sort of as an arrest, but does not look like an arrest. The high-profile gangster who killed 8 policemen earlier in 2002 or 2001 when BJP was in power, he killed a designated minister inside the police station. And all the policemen who were witness turned hostile in the court. So you can understand what kind of gangster he was. It's not possible that he was visiting Mahakal temple and private security guard identified him and he was caught. After arresting him without getting the transit remand from Ujjain police, UP police was bringing him to the UP, and in the convoy there was 3 Tata Safari vehicles. And much before the encounter site, the media vehicles were stopped. They were not allowed with the vehicles, the police vehicles. And when the encounter happened, it was Mahindra TUV which was fallen on the road, and there were no scratches on the vehicle. The eyewitnesses who were around the encounter site have not heard any or not seen any accident. They heard only firing. And when Vikas Dubey was fleeing from police, how he was fired on chest? Do you believe on police theory? It was a planned murder. We don't have any sympathy with Vikas Dubey, but every criminal has the right of due judicial process, and only courts have the right to punish the criminals, not the police. And if Vikas Dubey would have been grilled, he would have exposed the name of politicians, bureaucrats who patronized him so far in his career of 20 years, in which he murdered 20 people and he is facing 60 another criminal cases. So it's a it's a clear example how politicians nurture criminal, and once the criminal becomes politician, they build they build their empire, they build a mechanism in which nobody questions them. What's happening in the country today? So now we see the criminalization of Indian politics, which is worst now. Presently, in 2019, a report has been submitted to Supreme Court, in which it was said that total 4,122 criminal cases are pending against the sitting and former MPs and MLAs all across the country. Out of this 4,122 cases, the charges have not been framed in 1,991 cases, and 264 cases were stayed after the trial have been granted by the higher courts. In the present Lok Sabha, out of 539 MPs, 233 MPs have declared criminal cases against them, which is 44%. So you think almost half of our MPs have criminal cases against them, and the Modi government want a new parliament building for them, which would be paid by us. In 2019, the chances of winning candidate with declared criminal records, it was 15.5%, while the chances of winning candidate with clear background, it was 4.7%. So the voters and people who suffer criminals have to think about their voting intelligentsia also. It's the voter who decide who is going to be in the parliament or in assembly. And if they don't choose the right candidate, if they send the criminals in parliament and assemblies, they cannot blame the government, because ultimately they have been sent by voters only. Now we come to party-wise criminals. BJP has total 116 criminals, which is 39% of its total MPs. Congress is having 29 MPs with criminal records, which is 57%. So while Congress is on its decline, Still, the criminals are winning from it on its ticket. Then JDU, it has 13 MPs with criminal records, which comes to 81%. DMK, 10 MPs, which comes to 43%. And TMC, they have 9 MPs with criminal records, which comes to 41%. So you can see no party is clean in Indian politics today, whether it's BJP, whether it's Congress, whether it's JDU, DMK, TMC. It's not the single party can be blamed to getting criminals into the party, giving ticket and letting them win, letting them sit in the parliament and in assembly who have criminal records in past, and ideally they should have not allowed. In total 539 MPs, 29% MPs have cases of murder, rape, attempt to murder, crime against women. And going to these MPs frame the law for us. Do you think that the laws framed by these MPs going to benefit us, or they will frame the law which suit them? In 1970, when the politicization of criminals started, initially the Congress started giving tickets. Slowly, every party, later than BJP, also indulged in politicization of criminals. But today, this is not politicization of criminals, it is criminalization of politics. The entire political system is under the grip of criminals. In every party, there is the criminals are getting focused, which ultimately result the suffering of people, suffering of public, the loot, murder, rape, all the heinous crimes. So you can say all these are promoted by politicians, and for that reason they don't move for police reforms, which have been ordered by Supreme Court much before. So police does not work under the nose of politicians. Last year, you would have heard that Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu was questioned by Israeli police at his residence, at PM residence. And later on, police said that it has enough evidence for a starting trial against the PM Netanyahu. Do you expect such things in our country? You expect even MLA can be questioned at his residence, leave prime minister or home minister or any high profile people in the country. Now we see the list of few gangster or criminals who rule the political parties, and they went to one to another political party, and political parties welcome them. Shahabuddin, the known gangster from Siwan, which is in Bihar, in Lalu region, the Siwan was ruled by Shahabuddin. It was a jungle Raj. Even the entire Bihar was under jungle Raj, but Siwan, the murder of the people was very easy. The entire district was filled with his bones. In 2005, when Nitish Kumar became the CM, they had given the free hands to then DM Santosh Kumar and SP Sanjay Singh, and they changed Shahabuddin like anything, and they ruined the Shahabuddin empire. In 2015, when Nitish Kumar and Lalu collaborated and formed the government, once again Shahabuddin played a role, and he became one of the reason for which Nitish Kumar came out from the alliance and formed the government with BJP. Rama Singh is also a known criminal who became MLA from Manar, which is my home constituency, and later on MP from Vaishali, and Lok Jan Shakti Party, whose leader is Ram Vilas Paswan. Not only Rama Singh, lot of other criminals have been sheltered in Lok Jan Shakti Party. And the starting, the Lok Jan Shakti Party, it was the party of criminals. Now Mukhtar Ansari, who is presently MLA from BSP, he has spent 13 years in jail for the murder charges of Nandlal Roy. Then Raghuraj Pratap Singh, presently independent MLA. And in 2002, when he won on the ticket of Samajwadi Party, he was made Food and Civil Supply Minister by Akhilesh. But in 2013, he resigned after the murder charges of then DSP Yaul Haq. In 2014, when Devendra Fadnavis became the CM of Maharashtra, the Eknath Khatse, the minister in his cabinet, alleged that lot of politicians have linked with Daud Ibrahim. Even his call records showed his link with Daud Ibrahim. So you can see how criminals, terrorists, gangsters are deeply rooted in Indian politics. And these criminals and gangsters became MPs or MLA. But what about our Home Minister Amit Shah, who allegedly ordered for fake encounter of Shorabuddin and his wife Kausar B and Tulsi Prajapati? Later on, when the special CBI court headed by Judge Loya refused to give the favorable judgment, allegedly killed, then Delhi riots in which hundreds of people died and police was simply seeing or supporting the Hindu extremists, and the Delhi police is under control of Home Minister Amit Shah. Even various universities in Delhi were attacked by goons, by Delhi police. And who is ordering all this? When criminals are sitting on the top of our political system, what else can you expect from them? They will not tolerate any voice of criticism. They will not tolerate any ideology which does not follow their ideology of hatred, hat mongering. So the country witnesses the killing of 8 policemen by Vikas Dubey, or and lot of other criminals in all the political party. Now, shortly, we discuss the Corona crisis. It's clear, it's visible that government is completely failed in tackling Corona. So once again, the state governments are imposing lockdown after revoking it. In Maharashtra, Pune, the lockdown has been announced in Pune and some other cities. In Karnataka, the urban and rural Bangalore have been put under lockdown. It's going to be from 14 onwards. It says that government did not follow actions. Government could not follow the procedures which could stop the rising numbers of corona, which is almost 27,000 per day. There is no tracking, there is no institutional isolation, there is no home isolation. The people have been left to die. If anyone is found corona, he is admitted in the hospital. And in few states where hospitals are full, The corona patient is left to die on the street, roaming one hospital to another hospital. We have such a government which has no plan how to tackle corona. You see the Kerala, the first day onwards, they had full control on corona. Even when numbers gone up, they are doing the tracking and isolation in very strict manner. The policemen are monitoring the home isolation. They check the CCTV footage of the roads nearby the home isolation. All this is not done in other states. For that reason, the numbers are rising, and it's not going to stop nearby. If you believe to experts, when the numbers reach to 25-26 lakhs, then we can see a decline. But that's going to be a huge number. And if we have 25 lakhs corona patient, you can see how many deaths are going to be happen. So I will request Modi government, stop following your critics. Stop changing their lives. Focus on governments. Do for what you have been elected. You have not been elected for changing your critics. Thanks for watching.